Hello, welcome to Speed Gaming 2. We've got another race for you today. It's early afternoon here in America. We've got a really interesting seed for you today. This is going to be continuing our open world preset. All doors are going to be blue, and we're also playing with major minors, so we're only going to be finding major items in places where we would find a major item in the base game. So that's going to be on bosses, on artifact locations, and in other places where we find major upgrades. We're also playing with some interesting runners agreements. We've decided, or our runners have decided rather, to start with Charge Beam, which is definitely a fair decision. But more interestingly, they've also decided to play with random two-way elevators, which I think is definitely going to have the potential to create a very interesting seed. Do you have any thoughts to add, Torvis?
Not at the moment, but I am looking forward to this race. Should be super fun. We have XenoWars and Death King 2 with us. Should be super fun.
Yeah, this should definitely be interesting. We're going to be starting very soon. And just taking a moment there to sync our runners so that we're going to be watching them both at the same time. We're going to be checking Alco first, and that's going to be, is that a boost ball or is that our morph ball? Okay, that is our morph ball. It's a little hard to tell. The big difference between the morph and the boost is that the boost ball is actually a little bit bigger. But that is going to be our morph for today. And a missile expansion and landing site, which is pretty much the 1-2 punch that you always hope for.
Normally that would give you access to the temple, but because of the open world preset, we can go there immediately and get our hints and an item straight off the bat.
And this is, of course, going to be the longest room load in the game, this load for Artifact Temple. But we are going to want to come here as soon as possible. This is, I mentioned earlier that we're playing Major Minor, and this is one of our major locations. This is where you get an artifact in vanilla, one of the first that you have access to. And it's going to be our bombs. Very nice. Chapel of the Elders, Lava Lake, Canyon, Andrana Canyon, Observatory, Plasma Processing,
And Central Dynamo.
Alright, I went ahead and wrote all that down for us. XenoWars pulling into a slight lead. I want to note that neither of them read artifacts in the optimal way. The optimal way to do that is to actually scan each of them without actually reading them. Just immediately close the scan dialog and then go into your menu and read them. That is actually faster to do it. Even if you want to read the artifacts right then and there, that is actually just the better method. It saves you a little bit of menuing. That's going to be taking us to Reflecting Pool in Chozo, which is definitely a pretty good first elevator.
Gives us access to Antechamber, one of our one of our majors.
And with the open world preset, we can get that for free. It also means that we can skip the wave slot in all of the elders. Normally you can't do that without a pretty precise bomb jump, but that's not going to be an issue for us.
And that bomb jump is not very friendly.
I'm not checking into chamber right away. We want to see what this other elevator is first. Takes us to main quarry.
Ooh. Fortunate for Death King falling down. Interesting. Gravity suit and antechamber.
Yeah, we actually had a very interesting race last game where the gravity suit actually was quite an active detriment to our runners because it made it harder for them to get up into tower chamber. I think both of our runners should know that bombs will make that a non-issue, but it's hard to be sure. There is, however, the real problem that it's going to make the boostless in Life Grove a much more difficult thing to do. Death King going to get this miner and lower furnace. We are still going to want to check miners, primarily in the hopes of getting, well, A, some energy, because being on one tank is fine in ruins, but it's not going to serve us so well once we get further into the game. But also to try and find a powerbomb expansion, because powerbomb expansions are going to let us not get main power bombs, and main power bombs don't necessarily show up in a good place. There are a few majors that are going to be locked behind main power bombs. The big one is going to be Shore Tunnel. There's also a storage cave in Phadrana. That's another power bomb locked major.
Root Cave elevator goes to Magmore Workstation. I believe it was the debris side.
Death King, meanwhile, is choosing to fight Zoid. What do you think's the best play here? Personally, I think that the best thing to do would be to go to front of Chozo, check Ruined Shrine, check Hive, and check the elevator at the front of Chozo, as well as, you know, Sun Tower North.
I was thinking, I don't know if I would have fought Zoid at this point. I probably would have gone and checked Watery Hall. But then again,
right.
Zoid is on the way, so he may get lucky and get something valuable.
I don't think there's any reason that we would want to skip Zoid with Major Minor. Skipping Zoid is too big of a risk. Especially when we have bombs. Misses the shot. Hopefully Zoid doesn't close. That jeopardized our Zoid a little bit, but we still have a decent and alright finish time, and it's going to get us a grapple beam. That can come in handy, especially if we don't have a space jump for a while. Right now we're still missing that space jump. Yeah, that's one of our most important items we're missing. We're also missing Various Suit. That's another big one. So those are going to be kind of our top priorities to locate. If we find Space Jump or the Boost Ball, then we can very easily also go do Tower Chamber and Tower of Light, possibly.
Spider Ball will be very helpful with that. It would avoid requiring the, well, not requiring, but having to do the early Chozo Ghost skip.
First E-Tank of the game is going to be in Wondery Hall Access. Nice find. Nice find. It's a boost ball. Very interesting. I'm not sure why Death King is beelining Dynamo, considering this is major minor, but it still is helpful to get those minor items, certainly. And I did mention Tower of Light earlier. If we don't get the space jump, it's quite difficult to do the climb up to Tower of Light without having the required 36 missiles. That's a boost ball for Death King. And that is going to actually let us get up Ruined Shrine to Tower of Light, Tower Chamber, like I mentioned earlier. XenoWars, meanwhile, obtains the grapple beam. Death King takes a save here. Not a bad idea. It's possible we're seeing a Flogger play in the making. We do have bombs. No, not interested in it right now. I was thinking the Flogger play might be to save Scum if we mess up early wild, but nah, I guess not. Just an ordinary save, I reckon. I think that's a spider ball in Ruined Shrine. Yes, it is.
Yeah, so that gives us our access to Tower of Light.
Yeah. That is going to let us use the vanilla spider track to get to Tower of Light. We also needed the boost ball to make it up that half pipe, but now that just seals the deal.
There's also an interesting fight overlap with the ghosts and the little bug things at the same time.
Yeah, you don't see that one very often. Meanwhile, XenoWars acquires the boost ball from Watery Hall himself. Death King has been pretty thorough about picking up these miners. Do you make anything of that?
I think a lot of these miners in the beginning shows area are easier to get, which makes it have more missiles or E-tanks for later in the game.
XenoWars picks up a power bomb expansion. Meanwhile, I believe that was probably in the half pipe.
Yes, and he's checking the elevator.
Frigate crash site. XenoWars doesn't manage to make the jump either. Unfortunate. He's going to manage to skip the fight regardless, though, using a bomb jump there, which is very clever. Ordinarily, this is where you get the morph ball, so you're not expected to be able to do that in the base game.
It also appears Death King chose not to check Tower of Light.
Yeah, not Tower of Light. Didn't even go to Hive Totem, I believe. I might have just been looking away, though.
He's dropping back into Talon, but it's not gonna...
Yeah, I don't think that's the move. I think that's the wrong move here. Because it feels like he's playing for normal Rando to get, like, Overgrown Cavern, but this is a miner. This isn't anything. We certainly don't have frigate items. We skipped the gravity suit, and we don't even have space jump. Meanwhile, Various suit is in Tower Chamber for XenoWars. That's one of our big items. Now we're really looking for space jump, and after that, everything else is kind of just a good to have. We are, of course, going to need our 3 beams and the Phazon suit, as well as the 6 artifacts that we already had hinted to us. But really, the space jump is the only one that is locking a whole lot of locations. Although it would also be nice to get X-ray visor so we can do Omega Pirate. Phazon suit also is locking PN2, which is another one of our major locations. But both of those are in mines. We have so much more game to think about before we even consider going to mines.
And XenoWars is climbing Tower of Light in what I think is the worst way possible, but the only way at the moment.
Do note, we do not have enough missiles to do the entire tower like this.
Main power bombs on Tower of Light.
Oh. We're leaving. We might go get those later, but I don't think it's very likely.
Luckily, Xena picked up that power bomb expansion earlier, so he has some access to power bomb locations.
Yes, we can just worry about that later. We're not going to mines anytime soon. What do you think's going through Death King's mind right now? I'm not really sure I picked up what his strategy is.
I have 2 thoughts. First off, he didn't check that elevator earlier, so maybe he was routing back to check and see if it was something like Vendrana or somewhere else that had progression. My other thought is he's been checking a lot of um, minor locations, and I'm wondering, does he know that it's major minors?
Yeah, I'm honestly thinking that a lot about both our players. XenoWars, I don't think is going to be confused on this one. I think he just kind of wants to have energy, wants to have missiles, but Death King, I'm not sure he knows. It's going to be an X-ray visor, it looks like, on Hive Totem. Yes, indeed, that is the X-ray visor. And a missile and transport access north, for good measure. For those who didn't catch them earlier, our artifacts are in Lava Lake, Observatory, Plasma Processing, Central Dynamo, and Phendrana Canyon. So it is worth noting that Lava Lake is not going to be a progression item if we happen to get an elevator there. Did you see where the Sun Tower North elevator went? I know it's Magmore, but I didn't see where exactly.
Twin fires.
Twin Fires. I'll make a note of that. Now, like I said, Lava Lake is an artifact, so that's not going to be one of our majors. So that really leaves just Shore Tunnel and Warrior Shrine as our Magmore major items. Plasma Processing is also an artifact. Death King gets their gravity suit from the antechamber now.
Xeno is a little low on health for comfort.
Was there an energy tank in this room? At Fiery Shores?
I'm not sure, but whatever it is, he's going for it.
It was.
Yes.
Good.
Those are always nice to see when you're not doing well.
Death King, meanwhile, picks up the gravity suit. And that's our final suit, the Phazon suit, in Shore Tunnel. We have one more major to check that isn't an artifact, and that's going to be in Warrior Shrine, but we're happy with just that Phazon suit, being completely honest. That's not a bad thing to find. It's a bit tricky getting out of here with just bombs, but definitely doable.
And Death King has gone into Phazon mines.
Yes, yes, he has. This is from the reflecting pool elevator, so we'll be able to go back to Chozo if we head back up. It's worth noting we do not have space jump at this point. We do have grapple beam that's going to sort of cover a lot of our shortcomings. Like we're going to be able to use this crane to cross over to waste processing.
I believe, Storage Room B is in...
Storage Depot B. That's going to be pretty close to where we're coming out from waste processing or waste management. I don't remember what this room is called.
Yes, I believe he has the equipment to get it at the moment.
And the the monitor station elevator is bringing us to Quarantine Cave. It's worth noting we do have the spider ball, if we should fall down. That's going to be our space jump in Storage Depot B. Very good find for Death King.
It was a risky play, but it kind of paid off.
Now, for those who aren't super familiar with Metroid Prime, there's actually an invisible wall in front of Death King right now. It would be a visible wall if we were on the other side, but they didn't actually render the backside of this wall. We're going to be trying to do a boost ball technique to try and sort of get through it, because the collision on the backside is a bit funky. And you can see now that there's actually just a big rock wall that we were boosting through.
And XenoWars finds his Thermalizer and Warrior Shrine.
Very nice. Death King is going to be getting the upper Elite Research item, which is another minor. The lower Elite Research item is going to be a major, though, so it's going to be quite nice. Now, this is going to be a little dicey with our current HP. Chooses not to fight Philip. Oh yeah, we don't have any power bombs, do we? So that's not going to be an option right now. We also aren't going to be able to get Storage Depot A, because that also requires power bombs to blow up a metal gate. So really, this is just not a good route. We're not going to be able to get any more items. Yeah. It would have been better if we just gotten Storage Depot B and then immediately turned around and went back through waste processing.
Yeah, and his health is not in the safe area, I would say, for...
if he goes into this room, it's a soft lock. He's soft locked. This room locks, and you need the wave beam to get out by defeating the wave pirates. So he's stuck. He's stuck at this point. This is going to be a soft lock.
That's unfortunate.
Usually you can't get to that room without the wave beam, so that's probably the mistake that's going on here. So he might just not remember that this is the case. This is a very easy mistake to make, so I definitely understand it. He might also just value the scouting of the Storage Depot A. You can still scout it even with the doors in and out locked, and it's just going to be nothing in Storage Depot A. That's not going to have anything at all. Death King, perhaps realizing his mistake now, is going to reset.
That is unfortunate, but he did gain some valuable knowledge.
We do lose the space jump, though. We didn't save after picking that up. We might have even lost the gravity suit as well, honestly. The save he has is only 9 minutes into the seat, so that's a lot of progress lost. I believe he reset earlier for some reason, so it's not the end of the world. Like, that's not an entire 16 minutes we just lost there, but still not great. Yeah, we also lost the gravity suit. This is a save we did after a Zoid, after a Watery Hall. So I don't think we have the Spider Ball either.
At this point, I would probably just warp to start and then go back to Reflecting Pool.
Honestly, that wouldn't be a bad play for XenoWars right now. Taking a quick ship refill. Never a bad idea. Okay, so the Powerbomb expansion was probably in, like, the, it was either the Grapple Ledge or Vault Ledge, because it was not in the main Plaza half pipe. I'm not sure where XenoWars got the Powerbomb expansion.
Looks like Xeno's going to make the same play going into phase on mines.
Yeah, yeah. This is going to net him the space jump boots. So that's very, very good. Note that XenoWars does not have the wave beam either. He will be locked if he goes into security. So we really want to avoid doing that by mistake.
XenoWars does have a bit more equipment on him at the moment, so it'll be a bit easier of a journey.
Yes, this is not going to be nearly as tough. And I do think he also has a bit better game knowledge than Death King. I'm not sure on that last part, though. I think XenoWars is really more of an Echoes player, from what I've gathered. But I couldn't tell you that with certainty.
And since he has power arms, he will be able to check Elite Research item as well.
Yes, we can check Philip.
Philip. Who named all of these people?
There's a lot of people who named them. There's our space jump. I think it's worth noting that the nothing we found in Storage Depot A is the first one we found this seed. There are going to be 7 in total. So there's 6 more major locations that are not going to have anything on them. 6 of those nothings are because we remove 6 artifacts from the pool. The 7th is going to be because Charge Beam is also removed from the pool because we already have it as a starting item.
Death King is having a bit of trouble with the Hive Mecha Gandash.
Manages to barely make it, but hits the trigger while trying to climb back onto the platform.
That is
yeah, that's unfortunate. Now we either have to complete the fight or unload the room and try it again. It's likely we'll see Death King choose to complete the fight. XenoWars, meanwhile, is going to be doing that boost through this one-sided wall again. Just like we saw Death King do. I decided to scope out the item with the X-ray visor. Now there's a bit of an oversight in the AI for these elite pirates. Essentially, they can't start attacking you until they do a little bit of a turnaround to face towards you. Once they do that one time, they can start doing attacks as normal. But if you just never let them get a good look at you, they are just going to be turning around forever until they do. And when they're doing that, they're obviously not doing any attacks, so you can just kind of unload into them, which is what we saw the XenoWars do.
Yes, and in case you missed that, that was Ice Beam on Elite Research.
Yes, very good find, very good find. It's not going to be required for any of our major items, but it is going to be required to complete the game if we do the final bosses normally. There is escape that can be done, to skip the exo phase of Metroid Prime, which is the only thing that we actually need Ice Beam for. But I don't believe XenoWars would know how to do exo skip. That doesn't seem like something they would do. As for our other beams, Wave Beam, like we saw just there, is required to get through security and mines, which is also required by extension to get Storage Depot A. We know that Storage Depot A is nothing though, so that's not going to be too helpful. It's also useful in Hall of the Elders to lower the scan barrier, but we managed to do that by coming in from the other side, so that's not going to be helpful either. Lastly, it's going to be useful for things like powering on conduits, which also aren't terribly important. So it ultimately turns out that we don't really need Wave Beam for very much to see, besides, again, final bosses. Plasma Beam, though, is actually pretty important. That's going to be locking Elder Chamber, which is going to be a major item, as well as Omega Pirate, which we need the Plasma Beam to melt some ice covering a scan point. So that's two major items, effectively, that are locked behind Plasma. Hard locked, even though we have all the doors turned to blue.
Yes, and Death King picked up a Power Bomb expansion in Vault.
Ah, I see.
So he now has that for him.
That's going to be potentially quite helpful. XenoWars heads into Elite Control. We don't see an attempt at skipping the trigger. Now we have a few major items that remain in mines. Storage Depot A is one that XenoWars hasn't seen but can't access it anyways. There's also Elite Research, which we, again, can't access. But, sorry, not Elite Research, I meant to say Elite Quarters, which is where you fight Omega Pirate. Besides that, we have a few major items. Central Dynamo is one, but we know that that's going to be an artifact, so it's not going to be any progression. But we also have Phazon Mining Tunnel, PMT. That's going to be a major item, but we don't know which one. And since we have the Phazon suit, we can get it. You're not supposed to have X-ray visor for this fight, but if you do, you can just see Cloaked Drone in the dark. Very helpful. We don't see any maze skips today. For those unaware, if you time a bomb just right so that it pops you out of the hole just as you fall into it, you can actually pick up the item instantly and completely skip the maze, but we didn't see XenoWars go for that. It's, I believe, frame perfect, so it's not very likely to hit it.
There's a very short maze.
That was a good maze, yeah, you're right, so it's not a huge loss. This can be our second artifact. And we get a free power bomb from those crates, and we're going to get another one now. Hopefully.
I wonder if Xeno... Yeah. It might be better to save before going and checking PMT, because if it's nothing, you can just reset.
You see Death King doing Reflecting Pool Vanilla, draining the pool there so that we can use the boost half pipe to get up. entering MQA. Thankfully, we do have the spider ball, so this room isn't going to be too big of an issue. The ice beam is also going to let us deal with these Metroids very cleanly. We are going to be able to dispose of them quite easily. So, remind me, what are our remaining power bomb checks in this path on mines? Now, obviously we have PMT, which requires a power bomb to get into, but is there anything besides that?
As far as major items go, I don't believe so. Obviously, there are a couple miners. Like in this room, there's a miner you can get to.
Yes. And that requires 2 power bombs, if you're doing it the vanilla method.
Yes. Oh,
Oh, the
that is a
Metroids
lot
are
of
after
Metroids.
him. Thankfully, they don't respond well to being taken from one room to another. The pirates really had an effective quarantine there.
Also, I think something interesting to note, we have not found our logical missiles yet.
Yeah, we haven't seen a missile launcher yet. In addition to our 7 nothings, of which 1 has been found, there is also just going to be a missile launcher somewhere, which is essentially an 8th nothing, as far as our runners are concerned.
Now I really want the missile launcher to be in PMT.
That would be quite funny. Worth noting, because we do have an X-ray visor, we could theoretically fight Omega Pirate if this next item is the plasma beam, which we need to get in. Wave Buster and PMT. XenoWars resets. We're going to be resetting back to that save that we took next to Central Dynamo, which is going to let us immediately save warp out. This is why we took the save earlier. It saves a lot of time compared to having to backtrack back up mines, which you never want to do.
Avina is telling us that missiles can't be on PMT. But I'm not sure why that is. Oh, it's because main power bombs were on Tower of Light.
Ah.
Also, shout out to Avina and Frost. I think that's how you say that, our 2 trackers today. XenoWars make. Oh,
XenoWars is doing plasma processing right now, which is going to be our third artifact. Has a pretty solid lead at this point because Death King is essentially just behind them, doing exactly what they did. That's a third artifact right there.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know you could do a slope jump up to plasma processing.
That actually isn't just a slope jump. That also incorporates a pretty difficult R jump. But it's totally doable. You'll see a lot of our runners do that method. It's definitely not as safe as doing the standable over on the left edge of the room. But it's definitely pretty consistent if you get good at it. Which is why you'll see people confidently go for that in races.
XenoWars is checking Life Rope, which is one of only a couple of rooms in the game that have 2 major checks in them.
Yeah, the only other one that comes to mind is Sun Chamber. Ice Spreader on the X-ray visor item. We also have an artifact in this room that we can get. We need a power bomb to get it, though. Thankfully, that snail is guaranteed to drop us one, or nearly guaranteed. I'm not sure if it's exactly 100%, but you basically always get one. Plasma beam. That's big. That's big. That gives us access to Elder Chamber and Elite Research.
Oh, Death King. Looking a little low.
2 more hits in the maze and he would die.
It's a little scary.
Thankfully, there's a save station right here.
Death King is not checking TNT. Oh, he can't. He doesn't have Phazon suit.
Yeah, that's not going to be an option for Death King right now. Just as well, because it's not anything important there, but that is going to feel a little painful for him. He doesn't know that it isn't something important. He's going to be a bit upset that he had to go back. Our runners are going to be doing a little high five here. We're going to be wanting to get Elder Chamber right now. Death King, however, doesn't have the Plasma Beam, so we can't get Elder Chamber. Death King can get Hall of the Elders, but that's a minor item, so it's not going to be progression.
And that is a nothing in Elder Chamber.
At this point, I believe XenoWars is missing Lava Lake, Observatory, and Phendrana Canyon. He did already find access to Phendrana, though, so we can't head there. It might be a bit of a long journey, though.
Senna gonna get soft walked in this room? Oh, not this one, but it's coming up.
Hopefully he realizes. Did he take a save recently?
I don't know, actually.
I
Hopefully
think
he
he
did.
realizes his mistake. This might be back to the Central Dynamo save, actually. No, we saved in Map War after that.
And it looks like Death King is heading straight for Flagra.
I think that's a good play. Finally finishing off Flogger. Our first of our 2 Sun Chamber items. Both of them are unaccounted for. We want to find Wave Beam right now. That's what we really want to find. It wouldn't be go mode for Death King because he doesn't have Plasma, but it would be pretty close. Nothing. That's unfortunate.
Hopefully ghosts have something on them.
Gravity Chamber and Storage Cave are also unaccounted for when XenoWars gets to them.
Death King, you have Spider Ball. What are you doing?
And that's Wave Beam and Gravity Chamber. That's essentially go mode. So XenoWars is probably going to start skipping locations and just going to beeline artifacts.
Death King managed to recover his fall and made it back up to Sun Chamber for the Ghost fight.
Okay, that's good, because if he did do that, if he fell down, then he would need super missiles to get back up.
And super missiles have been unseen so far.
They could be locking themselves up here on Ghosts.
I lost connection for a second there. Did XenoWars head to Storage Cave?
I don't believe he did. I wasn't looking too closely, but I don't see a reason to at this point. We have all the things we need. The only thing that we could get rewarded with is a beam combo.
And Death King finds a second nothing on plant.
So Flogger really was not the play. That's our artifact in the observatory. We have two more artifacts. Both of them are in Fen. One's going to be in Chapel of the Elders, and the other's going to be in Canyon. So we just want to get out of lands as quickly as possible. If we really want supers, we could also check Control Tower, but I don't think we really do.
Death King is making his way to Sun Tower, or no, sorry, Tower of Light, and he'll find his Various Suit and his Power Bombs.
We make very short work of the fight at the front of labs. That doesn't phase us at all. That doesn't phase us at all. Takes a fall in Phadranic Canyon. That's really unfortunate.
And Death King saw the Power Bombs in Tower of Light, but is not getting them at the moment.
Understandable. It's going to be our 5th artifact for XenoWars. We have one more on Chapel of the Elders. Power Bombs will make quick work of Momoshige, so that's going to be pretty free. Do we know where the Shorelines elevator goes?
I don't know if they checked it. Last time XenoWars left this area, he went warp to start. Well, we've seen most of the elevators in the game. I'm guessing it has to go, I think, PPC and Phase on Mines. Or where else could it go?
I think you've got it mostly. Have we seen both of the Far Talon elevators? I'm pretty sure we have.
We've seen one of them. And as I'm being reminded by chat, yes, warping the star would be quicker for XenoWars than checking the elevator regardless. Once he gets his last artifact, he can just warp to start and go to final bosses.
You're completely right. That is true.
Death King is checking Root Cave.
That's not going to be very fruitful for him. Arbor Chamber is going to have a Power Bomb expansion, though, which is nice.
One more, and he'll have the full Power Bomb set.
That's our final artifact. We're now in true go mode. Now we're going to be able to tackle final bosses. Probably going to take a ship save first.
Where is Xeno going?
I do not know. We have all the artifacts, I'm pretty sure. We have all the visors, even. All the beams. I don't know what he's doing here.
Death King was attempting to skip the boost half pipe in Life Grove Axis.
Gets a side spreader.
Oh, Xeno is going for main power bombs, it looks like. Back in Tower of Light.
Not the worst move.
I don't know. I'd be very gung-ho trying to get this. Try to get to end credits. So I don't know if I would make this play myself.
I don't hate it, but I don't like it, certainly.
He only has one power bomb, and I know the Metroids in Impact Raider can be very mean. So
An Impact Raider, I'm more worried about the Metroids on Essence.
They're all mean. Also, still no missile launcher, I think.
Death King is struggling to get bar skip here. Wait, what's... Okay, we'll save one right now.
I think I might be slightly faster than going back through freaking crash site.
Alright, we managed to get the skip on Ridley. Bit of lag. Managed to get a pretty clean Ridley fight. So now we're moving into Impact Crater. We have the opportunity to take a save here if we really want to, but I don't think that XenoWars is going to feel inclined to do that. It's not really that necessary.
Death King also got his second artifact.
Very nice. At this point, there are 2 final bosses left to fight. Metroid was the first one. You can fight him before you have all the stuff to complete the game. But now we're moving on to Metroid Prime, which comes in 2 phases. Metroid Prime Exo, which is a crab. We need all our beams to defeat Exo. And Metroid Prime Essence, which we need the Phazon suit to defeat. XenoWars is going to take a save. Or at least a refill. I didn't quite see whether he actually saved the game. Managed to get up Impact Crater without any real challenges. We are obviously not going to be attempting Exo Skip. Death King picks up the Phazon suit. They're now that wave beam away from go mode. Death King picks up the Thermal Visor. Now, for Exo, there are essentially 4 sub-phases. In the first one, which we actually just defeated, he can only switch between power and wave mode, which is the beam that you need to have on in order to damage Exo. This is why we need all of our beams to complete the game. Now that we're out of Subchamber 1 and into Subchamber 2, he can switch between power, wave, and ice as well. And Subchamber 3, the one after this, he can also require plasma. Now, in all of these first 3 subchambers, the pattern that he has is pretty regular. He switches from one phase to the next after taking a certain amount of damage. It's the order and which one he starts at, I don't believe, are fixed, but it's pretty predictable besides that. In Subchamber 4, though, he doesn't get any new beams, but he acts a lot more erratically, or she actually. Metroid Prime acts a lot more erratically, and can switch basically as often as she wants to. You'll see what I'm talking about in a few minutes. 3rd artifact for Death King. Hold on, the tracker is not being super responsive right now. I have it open, but it's not wanting to switch to 3 artifacts for Death King. Alright, there we go. He misses the charge shot there, that's unfortunate.
Death King has made his way to Fendrana, gonna pick up his last couple artifacts. He's still looking for Waving, which unfortunately is on the back end of Fendrana at the moment.
Yeah, that was in Gravity Chamber, wasn't it?
I believe so.
XenoWars, meanwhile, is almost done with Exo. We got a Plasma phase first in Subchamber 4, which is very good. Plasma is the best phase for Exo to be in, especially when we don't have super missiles, because Plasma Beam does a lot of damage. Back to power phase. Like I said, Metroid Prime acts pretty erratically in Subchamber 4, so she can kind of switch back and forth as often as she wants to, which is what you saw there. They actually changed phase twice in very short succession. And if you get unlucky, Metroid Prime can kind of just keep switching back and forth before you have time to change your beam over. Theoretically, you could get stuck here forever. It's impossibly unlikely that that'll happen, but it is technically something that could occur. I'm sure if you crunch the numbers with whatever pseudo-random number generator the game uses, it's probably not actually possible for that to happen, but... Alright, down into the pit. Death King gets their 4th artifact meanwhile, but we're going to be starting Essence now. Now this phase is pretty much an auto-scroller. We just need to wait for Essence to drop a pool of phase on, and then use that to damage Essence. This is part of why we wanted those power bombs, because Essence will actually spawn some Metroids between dropping pools, and they can be pretty difficult to deal with. The Fission Metroids in particular can be a real pain, because they actually split up into smaller Metroids after you defeat them, if you use other methods. Thankfully, we have all our visors, so we don't have to worry about finding Essence in the dark. This is not a difficult fight.
And that is tied for XenoWars, coming with 127.44. Oh, sorry, 127.32.
And we should have both runners in pretty soon. Death King has opted to forfeit. So that's going to be GG. XenoWars has won. Hello, XenoWars. Good race, good race. You won.
Yeah.
Any comments on that seed?
When I saw the power bombs, I was glad that there was one in main plaza.
Yeah, that definitely worked out really well for you that you found that power bomb before checking a Tower of Light.
Yeah.
Death King, how did you feel about that seed?
Jesus.
About what?
About the
Monster
seed.
on Thardis.
The seed was okay. Only my mistake was, well, we shouldn't talk about that.
Yeah, there were some routing mistakes here that went on. I know you got to very, very late.
Yeah.
Not to mention just, unfortunately, locking in, security in mines because you didn't have the wave beam. Actually, that wasn't a unique mistake to use. XenoWars made the same mistake. He just happened to have a save pretty shortly before he did that.
Yeah, I should have been saving a lot more, I guess. It was just, I went in there and thought, I didn't really do it right. Checked, yeah, it's closed, of course. Okay, I have to quit. Wait. Chozo? Not good.
Super was on
I
OP,
did I
and
had my save back in Magmore so that I could just quit out and go to Fendrana.
yeah.
Wave beam gravity. Oh, come on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Wave Beam was in Gravity Chamber. It took both of you a while to find that one.
I mean, I was on the way now, but too late. Way too late.
Yeah, there was just a lot of different little mistakes that kind of piled on to Death King's run.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that did result in, despite you two making some pretty similar decisions, that added a lot of time loss, put you a bit behind. There were a few routing differences, but besides some pretty minor things like XenoWars choosing to go to Life Grove, I believe, a little bit earlier than you. Besides stuff like that, you two were pretty much on the same path. Tortoise, do you have anything to add?
So,
Tortoise, do you have any questions?
So I guess when you got down into Phazon Mines, because Death King actually found Space Jump first before he had to reset. What was your thoughts when you found Space Jump in Storage Depot B?
I was happy. I mean, you have so much more options with Space Jump. Especially if you don't know which elevator do you get. When you have to leave that behind or this. When I was like, nice. Better routing now. At least for a few minutes.
Yeah, I did contemplate going to main quarry immediately because I knew with bombs you could get to Storage Depot B not easily, but like it's just one hard-ish dash to get to waste disposal.
Yeah, with the grappling beam, you didn't have to worry too much about getting to waste disposal from main quarry. that wasn't too big of an issue.
Yeah.
No.
Any final comments? I apologize for the soporific commentary. I just don't have that much energy right now.
Didn't really think there was anything too bad about the seed, so I guess not.
The seed was fine.
Yeah.
Also, thanks for the restream, guys.
Yeah, we do have more races today. At 5 p.m. we had some races that were starting. One was between Uncle Reggie and Mighty Caesar 37. You can catch that on SpeedGaming 4. And the other was TGC versus Elias Thompson on SpeedGaming 5. So both of those are going to be going on right now, most likely. And in about half an hour, we're going to have, at 6 p.m. EDT, Darkstar versus CZeek on SpeedGaming 3. So both of those are going to be, that are going on right now. I recommend you tune in. And the upcoming race is definitely going to be very good as well. There are also 2 races each, Saturday and Sunday, that you can tune into. Those will be announced what channel they're on, but on Saturday we have 1 race at 3 p.m. and 1 race at 4 p.m. And on Sunday we have 1 at 4 and 1 at 8. So definitely be sure to check those out if you want to get any more Metroid Prime Randomizer content. On Monday we're going to be getting a new preset, so you're going to want to especially tune in for next week to see some more of that. Torvis, any closing comments?
Great seed, fun to watch. You both perform great. That's all.
All right, in that case, I think I'll end the episode here. We'll see you next mission.